Okay, so I am going to show you how to complete an oil pastel monoprint using one of your Northampton buildings. Brilliant. So I've gone for the Northampton Museum and Art Gallery for this demonstration. So first thing you should do is turn your photograph over, and then for some of you, then taking your oil pastels, I want you just to select maybe 3 to 5 different colours, preferably thinking about the colour wheel and harmonious colours. So colours that are next to each other on the colour wheel. You can see my oil pastels are grouped in harmonious colours, but choosing, red, orange, yellow, blue, green, yellow, purple, red, blue, so like groups of harmonious colours, because then they'll be able to blend more effectively for your monoprint. So for some of you, it'll be absolutely fine. Take your oil pastel and apply an even coating to the back. However, if you want to challenge yourself, you will see these images have been intentionally printed out in black and white. And one of the benefits of that is I'd like you to just draw a rough outline. You can do it with your biro of the key shapes within your building. So very lightly, a little refer back. So very lightly with my biro, I'm just outlining the key sort of areas of my image. Then selecting my colours, I think I'm going to go for some shades of green going into blue. Then apply your colour according to those shapes. So you want an even coating of the oil pastel on the page. Might be nice if you think about your composition, so the way that something is arranged on the page, the way that an artwork is arranged, the way your eye travels around an artwork. It can be nice to think about where the same colours might appear across the page. Okay, going to go for a green now. So blending over, because we don't want any areas of white space on the back. Just double check my image. Okay. I'm going to go for a blue now. Blue and green are next to each other on the colour wheel, so they will blend effectively together when I mix them. So I'm pressing firmly then with my oil pastel, creating an even coating of the pastel across the back of my image. Different shade of blue. Let's have a little refer back to my image. Layer your pastels if you like. Okay. And I'm going to use a lighter tone. Be mindful the lighter colours don't work as the sort of transfer isn't as effective as with the darker colours. So I would predominantly be using darker colours just because that will create a stronger transfer with your oil pastel monoprint. But you can certainly use them in a limited way. Okay, so, right, I think I'm happy with that. So I've got my coating then of my pastel across the back of my image. Then I'm going to flip that over, middle of my page, take a piece of masking tape and secure one side of your image to the paper. So now it's ready. Now we're ready to start using your mark making techniques, everything that you used from your mark making grid at the start of the lesson, everything that we've understood about line, thinking about David Hockney, Bernard Cohen's use of line, and we're going to start to apply our mark making. So with a biro, you're going to press firmly, not too hard because we don't want to rip the paper, but not the end of the world if you do. This piece of paper will be removed at the end. So I'm going to start to transfer my image onto the paper underneath. But already then I'm starting to think about my mark making. So here then we've got some interesting brickwork. I think what would work really nicely there are some straight lines. So I'm going to start to draw those down. Always think about applying your mark making in the direction of your image. So my lines are going across here, the brickwork's going across, so that it makes sense for me to think about mark making that's then going to work with that image. Okay, perhaps then we've got some slight areas of tone, so I might then think about cross hatching here. So that's where lines go one way and then the other. I'm going to do them quite close together to demonstrate a darker area of tone there. Okay, so then a quick reveal. And I can see then I've got a really interesting monoprint starting to appear on the page underneath. So I need to keep building that up. So always keep referring back to your mark making grid and really challenge yourself to use as many different types of mark making as possible. So thinking about zigzag, crosshatch, dots, otherwise known as stippling, little dots to create a drawing, can be really visually effective. Okay, so then you will just continue to build up your marks, creating this monoprint, the singular print of your Northampton based building. Okay, brilliant. Good luck. Look forward to seeing your outcomes.